What is happening, everybody? James Hancock here. I'm back to discuss episode 2 of season 6 of The Expanse, an episode called The Azure Dragon. If you have not seen the episode yet, go do so because I will be discussing spoilers. But I thought this episode absolutely rocked. But before I get to my thoughts, I want to give everyone a heads up that Amazon posted to YouTube a really cool breakdown of the season 6 premiere where Wes Chatham, Ty Frank, Nareen Shankar, Daniel Abraham, and director Breck Eisner discuss all the ins and outs of what went into producing this season. And for me, seeing the novelist, the showrunner, the director, or one of the key stars do the deep dive on their creative process, it was a rare special treat. So if you really want to sink your teeth into the meat of how this show got made, I highly recommend it, and I'll leave a link to it in the video notes below. But I want to call attention to a few of the key takeaways from their conversation, like how the director Breck Eisner decided to spend a lot of time watching old submarine movies in order to get into the zone for this very warlike season. And as far as the topic of bringing the story of Strange Dogs forward into season 6 is concerned, Nareen Shankar explained how the cliffhanger ending of season 5 needed to be addressed to some degree, but also the impact of the proto-molecule on this fictional setting across all these seasons. It's been such a huge part of the show, it would feel like something's missing from season 6 without more development on that front. Also, quick suggestion to author Daniel Abraham: if you want to look cool in your leather jacket, don't sit next to Amos Burton when he's also wearing a leather jacket. All kidding aside, let's get into this latest episode. So anytime I see that an episode of The Expanse is written by the creators of The Expanse, Ty Frank and Daniel Abraham, I know we're in good hands. Many talented people work on this show, but anytime these guys are handling scripting duties, I know we'll be getting the purest version of this story possible. But this episode opens with another scene from the novella Strange Dogs, where we see Kara trying desperately to help out these little birds, one of whom dies due to being fed part of her protein bar. And then when she tries to dig a grave for it, the strange dog runs away with the dead bird, but you'll have to wait until next week for more on that front. Now, I love the fact that they chose to include these little vignettes on Laconia, but I have one small complaint. The little girl can't act, especially when she tries to cry after crashing her drone, but I don't want to be mean to a little kid, so I'll just move on. The big news this episode is the arrival of Bobby on the Rocinante. She brings her big-ass suit, and she's ready to whoop all kinds of ass, and for me, the crew of the Rocinante should always have members from every major faction, so in the absence of Alex, Mars is now once again a part of the team. She agrees to get Jim Holden some intel on the ships that have vanished at the ring gates, and she also announces that their new mission is not search and destroy, but instead to capture the Rockhopper, the Azure Dragon, and to extract whatever information is on board. Jim and Amos don't like it since that makes the mission considerably more difficult, but Amos gets a little payback in this fantastic scene where he abruptly announced to Bobby that the Rocinante is hiding Peaches on their crew. Bobby doesn't like it, but Jim trusts Amos, and Amos trusts Peaches, so that's the end of that. At any rate, before the end of the episode, Peaches ends up saving Bobby's bacon, but before we get to that moment, we get an absolutely killer chase scene as the Rocinante first tries sneaking up on the Azure Dragon while it's on the float. This show has many great ingredients, but consistently one of the best, one which sets it apart from other sci-fi shows and movies, is the way it handles combat in space. These scenes have a style and flavor that is 100% its own, as we see yet again as the Rocinante is forced to chase down the ship and get in close enough for Bobby to leap between the vessels and shut down the Azure Dragon. But when it's time for Naomi to do her part, she completely emotionally shuts down due to lingering trauma from her experiences last season. So Peaches steps up and tells Holden that Naomi had an equipment malfunction. Now, I don't know why, but the way Holden growled, "What the fuck are you talking about?" absolutely had me howling. In any event, Peaches sees some bad guys about to get the drop on Bobby, activates her mods, saves the day, and then promptly vomits inside her helmet. It was beautiful stuff, and it's all in a day's work for the crew of the Rocinante. The good news is that Jim and Amos find the motherload of information inside the ship with all the Free Navy's plans for chucking rocks at Earth. That strategic asset's now gone, meaning that UN and MCRN forces will be able to face the Free Navy on their own turf. Oorah. Also in the aftermath, we get this fantastic scene where Jim tells Peaches about the importance of following the chain of command so everybody knows what's happening. Amos clues her into the fact that she just got chewed out, but she's delighted because she knows that she's now officially a part of the crew. But we got a lot more this episode apart from scenes with the Rocinante. We see Avasarala recruiting Monica for a special documentary about Earth in order to put a human face on the tragedy as a way of possibly persuading Belters to think twice about killing people. Monica tells her that she knows how to lay down a good guilt trip, and then in one of the funniest lines of all 6 seasons, Avasarala tells her, "I practice a lot when I'm alone." Meanwhile, Mark Wynars has to deal with the fallout from Philip's murder rampage from the previous episode. They spin it as a situation where he was attacked and defended himself and bend the laws of Ceres Station to have him released. This leads to a lot of folks talking shit about Philip as he wrestles with his own personal guilt from his actions. Rosenfeld's the only person who has the courage to give Marco some solid advice as he continues to struggle to make Philip into the man that he needs him to be. And when Rosenfeld tells him the bad news about the Azure Dragon, we see that Marco's thrilled on some level because he's ready to have a real proper fight. Quick side note, Marco rocks a man bun in this episode. Now this is just one person's opinion, but if you want to appear tough, a man bun is not the look you want. The one exception would be Czech MMA fighter Yuri Prohaska, who has earned the right to wear his hair however the hell he likes, as you can see here. The final storyline in this episode was particularly cool as we see Drummer going into full-blown pirate mode. She docks up with the Inazami where the smuggler Liang Walker is in charge, and I fucking love this dude. He claims that Marco Inaris doesn't like him since Liang intimidates him sexually, but without giving anything away, I'll simply say keep an eye on this character this season. He's going to earn legions of fans. Because like Ashford, Liang is a true belter pirate. In any case, he tells Drummer that the Free Navy has taken over Ganymede and that Marco is setting up all these supply depots all over the belt where he's hoarding crucial supplies and then pushing them toward Medina. So Drummer cooks up this scheme where she wants to team up with Liang and other like-minded individuals to loot these depots, and seeing Drummer make this pivot into pirate mode just gave me some serious chills. At any rate, that's all I have this week. Hope folks are enjoying having the show back in their lives. Thanks so much for listening to my review. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, but more importantly, as always, onwards and upwards. Oh.